So just before I begin, I just have like a small request from everyone. So at multiple points during this speech, I'm going to be naming a lot of people. And when I do, I'd really like it if all of you could raise your hands because I don't want to be talking to someone I don't like or something. So just to avoid that, please raise your hands and I can get it done with. Okay, so let's begin. April 7th, 2006. Our first day in school. My first class of maths. Ma'am walks in, we all say hi, and then class begins. Our first task is to count to 100. The first person stupid enough to answer is me. The first person smart enough to know I'll fail is Vanaj. I remember standing up and looking him in the eyes. It was mutual disrespect. Challenge accepted. And so I start counting. You see, 1 to 4 is like warming up. It's only around 7 that it gets slightly difficult, but by the time you get to 17, you can see the finish line. And so, I go in for the kill. I look Vanaj in the eyes and I go, 18, 19, 100. That was our first day in school. And here we stand amidst what is to be one of our last. And I think it's time I told you all something. Some of you know this, but the one thing I'm most afraid of is being forgotten. The idea of having no legacy to be remembered by. So the first day I wore this badge, I knew this was my chance. My chance at doing something that I could be proud of. My chance to be a part of something so much bigger than myself. So that one day, when you see a picture of what once was, an Instagram post, an old Snapchat memory, or just find yourself back in these hallways, you look at me as someone more than just some boy that you went to school with. And that's all I've been trying to do this past year. Make a difference. And so as I stand here wearing this badge for the very last time, I really hope that I've made it count. Good morning, teachers, parents, my parents, students, and the people that I've grown up with. My name is Ishayu Nath, and I've been your head boy for more than a year now, but far more importantly, I've been a student of this school for 17, so here's to the ones that I'll never forget. Let's start at the beginning. 27th May 2002. My mother's biggest regret is born. Mama, I have 2 questions. The first is, how exactly have you managed to live in the same house as me for 17 years? And secondly, I'm 17 now, I'm about to become 18, I'm like a big boy. Can I please take an Uber home? But honestly, Mama, it hasn't been said enough, but there isn't one single thing that I'm more grateful for than every time you've put me before you. Through all the fights, arguments, birthday parties, cricket tournaments in West Delhi, debates in Shimla, and dinners at home, I think the question isn't how you've managed to live with me, but how would I manage to live anywhere else. I'm so proud to be your son and share your last name, and thank you so much. So, now I know a lot of you will come up here and talk to you, or all of you, about how much your fathers have taught you, right? But fair disclaimer, right? So my dad has been diving to the depths of the Andaman, he's flown a fighter jet in Russia, and he's covered a war in Kargil. Those were my bedtime stories, and none of you stand a chance. So apart from being the single coolest person you would ever meet, there's one thing that my dad taught me that I'll never forget. He said it doesn't matter what you do, how much you earn, or where you end up, because the most important thing in life is to be a good human being. And I had no one better to learn from. To my granddad, Dadu. See, a lot of who I am today has to be given down to the person that you are. You've given me everything that I can love, my ability to read, to play cricket, to be who I am. At the end of the day, I owe it all to you. Ahan. One of my biggest regrets is I leave the school the year that you entered. And you probably don't understand a word of what I'm saying right now, but it's fine. Mama will show you a video sometime in the future. And I hope by that time your life in the school is just as amazing as you've made mine for the past 9 years. Because wherever I go, whatever I do, a part of me will always be at home, bowling, batting, catching, commentating, or just annoying you. And to everyone else here sitting, you better take care of him, because you have no idea what's coming your way. So there were many firsts after my first day in school, and it wasn't just my first day that was amazing. There was my second, my third, and every single day after, and that was because of a few very incredible people. Vanaj, Shiv and Shine, Every early memory I have in this school is with you three, and there's no single set of people I would rather have shared these first with. Guys, please raise your hands, by the way, okay? Okay. And in class 6, we were joined by one very small kid with a compulsive blinking disorder. Tuhal. See, if you're truly Gopi's friend, you know three things. Firstly, he scored a double hundred in Bombay when he was 10 years old. Secondly, Gopi gains weight by choice. If he wanted to, he could lose all of it in 1 week. And thirdly, Gopi is the best hugger ever. But there's one more thing about him that goes unsaid, because if you really know him, you will know that you will never meet anyone else like him. So when all of us will remember you by the days we spent shouting Propra whenever and for anything and everything, but me, I'll remember every single day I spent making top drums, phone calls where I bought your advice with Fruit Loops, and sleepovers playing way too much FIFA, because you've left me with a friendship more powerful than any memory can ever be. 2 years down the line, another group of people became very important to my life. Tuhin, Shiv, Shayan, Tara and Richa. The 80 gang was honestly too much fun, and I honestly don't think any moment captures this better than when Tuhin said, Isha, shut up, you're black, and Sugandham just laughed and nodded. Tara, till class 11, I was convinced you hated me, but now I'm just convinced you found a really good way to hide it, and I'm so happy you did, because I don't think there was any other way the council could have functioned. But speaking of people who never liked me back, hi Richa. Because jokes aside and magic tricks aside, I think you put it best. Through an 8th, 9th and 10th spent in class, Rani K's and carpooling, and 11th marked by a centre stage performance, it's been iconic. To my cricket team, and them also. For every ball bowled, for every run cheered, every win celebrated, and every loss recovered from, I just want to say thank you. Differences aside, out in the field, we all speak just one language. Very abusive Hindi. But one voice is always the loudest. We all know Brad for this one quality, raise your hand, that you made your own. Mood swings. But
who's this?
He's also the only person I know who'd come to my house just because I told him I was feeling off. He get excited about things like twinning on Litfest, our next brown box date, a new stand-up performance, or a couple of hours to sit down and watch an RCB game with me, because he's one of the most passionate people you would ever meet, because he's one of the few who genuinely cares. Just remember, UK, Canada or India, if it comes down to it, it's Stain and Rabada against the world. To my debate team, to the people who made this red kurta into a jersey, and to the one person who can walk out in the middle of prep time and come back with 47 different arguments, but at the same time with complete seriousness go, Bombay is a city in the north between Delhi and Shimla that I will visit on my way there. Your head of events, Rian Mishra. You know how people say a friendship is based on making fun of each other? Yeah, that's the Bible for the two of us. And honestly, it's worked. Because Rian, along with not taking things seriously together this year, I got to work with you a whole lot more and realize that under all that muscle is a person who's always there for his friends and can make a real difference. And honestly, Vedant Chandra who? To Himgiri House. Because it might be white on the outside, but it'll always be yellow on the inside. And to Costo for leading it the way that he has. You started the year by breaking a vase in Manika ma'am's room, but you're ending it with all of us very proud of the way you've taken care of our home. And to this last year, because honestly, it's been a very different one. I've gotten to know so many incredible people, and my only regret is not having enough time to get to know them even further. Sahil, I know for a brief second I forgot you were in my class, but the one vlog-worthy evening we had in SD is one I'll never forget. Firo. I've never met anyone who sees life with such a great sense of calm, and I'll definitely never meet anyone who eagerly picks me while playing football. Meher, yes, you're scary, but the day you spent campaigning with me and the message you wrote me and I was so scared letting all of this go shows that you also mean a whole lot more. Himmat, I don't think you need to be told that you are the single funniest person any of us will ever meet. I know you want to pretend like none of this affects you, but you tried at NWR, so just stop, because no one believes you. Sara, you know those people who you think are just so nice, they think twice before breathing and because they don't hurt the oxygen around them? Yeah, So that's Sarah, and honestly, I think a lot of us would do a whole lot better with more people like her in our lives. Mira, after every car ride and bus ride, I'm surprised you haven't chucked stones at my window just yet, but have had to be stuck with the Bengali down the road. I'm glad it was you. And lastly, Bhargav. A couple of months ago, Rian told me a thing only Bhargav can do. So he's applying for this internship with Rian's dad's office. It's like a business internship. And this man's resume has two things that stand out. The first, obviously, is one word, model. But the second is even better. He writes, I received a participation certificate for taking part in my class 10 board exams. But there's also one more thing that you can always count on Bhargav for, and that's friendship. Because whenever his friends need him, he always comes through, and that's really rare. Bhargav, you've come a long way since Interhouse Dance, and you've seriously grown a lot, and I am really proud and lucky to have gotten to know you. But there's one person who isn't lucky to have known you, and this is because you stole his Pikachu. Addy. You see, this was really difficult to write, and it's not because I cared about you or anything, but it's because you were sitting right beside me while I was writing it. Okay? But the thing is, I don't think I need to say a lot because actions speak a whole lot louder than words, and I've spent basically so many days at your house over the past few weeks, I basically live there now. And through all the time we spent emulating Mark, Axel, Chandler, and Jake, I learned from you that it's possible to never know what's going on, but still be there for every single moment that matters. I know we spent our childhoods in two very different homes, but it's the exact same things, but ending it together could not be more special. Addy, we walked the lonely road together, and that's why it's home to me, and you'll never walk alone. But as everything else, this year too is coming to an end. And in 6 days, the red sweater will soon become a red kurta, and we shall all soon be graduating. And that day makes us sad, but there's one thing about that day that will also make us happy, and that's the people who we end up going with. Bhavya, I know I've told you how much grad means to me, but no matter how much it means to me, getting to share it with you means a whole lot more. One last memory to add to a never-ending list. And whether it's you running into a mirror, taking everyone to lunch from a metro station and telling me to take a metro home, or somehow convincing me that I was invited for Satyam's party but not Sarthak's, the one thing that hasn't changed is just how happy I've been through it all. I know I keep making fun of you for not being there in junior school, but thank God you were, and thank God you're here. Because on the 23rd, when I get to say goodbye, I get to say standing next to you, and there's no other way that I would have it. Being head boy has always been a dream, and this year, I got to live it with the most incredible people ever, my council. Guys, this year hasn't been easy, and we haven't just pulled through, we've smashed it out of the park. Because together we've achieved something that none of us could ever have achieved alone. Whether it was the Purvi standing up with the Happiness Week, or Zita waking up at 6 in the morning to count posters, or Rian and the entire Ed board coming together to pull off Activity Day and LitFest together, it was a team effort. And honestly, our team had a lot of support. Thank you, Mother Ma'am and Manisha Ma'am, for understanding where we're coming from and always trying your best to make us happy. Thank you, Janani Ma'am, for being with us every step of the way. You hold us together, ma'am, and we couldn't be luckier. And a special shout out to our 12th man, Laila. Lala, I honestly think your biggest strength is that you understand the people around you and have a sense of empathy and maturity which honestly shouldn't be allowed at our age. And you use it to help everyone around you. And it's because of that that you are an invaluable member of this team and of late, my school life. To the person who will be standing here in 1 year, Dhruv, I can't tell you what the next year is going to be like, but I can promise you that when it's time to let it all go, it's going to be really difficult. Because honestly, it will be amazing. But at the same time, it's going to be equally difficult. But when it does become that, remember this. You weren't given this, you earned it. It wasn't a random selection, you were chosen, and every single person in this room believes in your ability, and none more than I. Remember that and respect the badge, because it isn't just a piece of metal, it is made up bit by bit of every single person in this school, and that is what you carry with you every day. It is a duty to be the very best version of yourself, because anything less would be an injustice. So when it gets tough, stand your ground. And if you are very, very lucky, you will find someone amazing to stand next to you. Anya, I consider myself very, very lucky. I don't know what I can say that will justify every single day we spent together, but I know I wouldn't have made it 1 hour without you. I will never know how a vegetarian who beat me to Himgiri and somehow threatened students by saying don't freelance in the corridors can ever matter so much, but you do. And I know you're scared about what will happen when it's all over, but the way I see it, if it's the world against you, then the world better call for backup because it has no idea what's about to come up against. Because if there's anything I've learned this year, it's that. And because of it, I won't just remember this past year as the year I was head boy. I will remember it as the year I got to work with the best head girl this school will ever have. But so much more importantly, I will remember it as the year I got to know my best friend. And that means so much more to me than any of it. And then there were two. Anushka. The one person who knows what I'm doing at 8 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and 9 in the evening. I will try my best to do this one without any water breaks, but I'm not making any promises. 3 years ago, I didn't know I'd have to make this goodbye, but standing here today, I've never been more scared to make one. And even if I could, how could I possibly put into words every time you found the words I needed to hear? Every car ride as eventful as the one we nearly died, or every party like the one you called me from, just so I could hear daylight playing in the background. Or every stupid joke and small conversation that when put together makes this so hard. Because every time is about to become the last time, and I just want you to know how grateful I am. It might have been 3 years in number, but it is an infinity in memories. So I know it's meant to be goodbye, but let's just leave it at to be continued.
I love you.
And now to the best friend I didn't think it was possible to have. Amy, at first I honestly did not know where to begin. Which story should be the last that I tell? Which joke should be the laugh that we laugh about? And which moment should I hold on to as it's time to let go? But then I realized it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I begin, because what matters the most is now it's time for us to end. And honestly, there is no school without you, and no memory will ever cover what we have. Because it isn't a story with us or a friendship, it's a feeling. One without which there's a sense of incomplete, and one I can only describe with what I once heard. At this moment, there are 7,751,075,435 people in this world. Some walk into your life and some walk out. Some are remembered and some are not. And in this world of 7 billion people, 7 billion souls, sometimes all you need is just one. Amy, thank you so much for being that one. And now to all of you still listening, my juniors. I don't want to scare all of you by telling you that one day soon you'll be where we are, because there's still a lot left before that happens. But remember this. In life where there is so much to do, so many burdens to carry and expectations to meet, sometimes all you have to do is take a step back and live a little. So when your time comes, you look back at it with a sense of satisfaction and what had happened and not regret at what could have been. Seize the moment, because it's never coming back. And finally, to my batch, it is now time for the final goodbye. To everything, to every first, to every last, and everything in the middle that makes this so hard. We're about to be adults now, and the world is about to become a very different place. I have only one request. Do not be afraid, because everything ends, and that's always sad. But everything begins again, and that's always happy. And if there's anything I've learned in my past 14 years, be happy, because that's exactly what you have made me. So for one last time, my name is Ishayu Nath, and standing with you has been an absolute privilege.